Arnold Schwarzenegger just flexed his bicep. 20-2 inches. Pure muscle. Muhammad Ali looked at it and laughed. That's when Arnold knew he'd made a mistake. 1974, ABC Studios, New York. The cameras weren't rolling yet, but 40 people in the green room were watching. Arnold had just walked in, fresh off his 5th Mr. Olympia win, the biggest bodybuilder in the world, and he knew it. The room itself was small, cramped. ABC had packed in chairs, makeup stations, production staff, everyone waiting for their segment. Actors, athletes, politicians, the usual mix of fame and ego. But when Arnold entered, the energy shifted. It always did. People looked up, conversations paused, because Arnold wasn't just big, he was a phenomenon, a walking advertisement for what the human body could become with enough will and work. Muhammad Ali was there for an interview, the heavyweight champion, the most famous athlete on the planet, sitting on a couch in the corner, relaxed, smiling, talking to his entourage like he owned the place, which in a way he did. Arnold walked over. He extended his hand. This was his move. Establish presence, be friendly but dominant. Make sure everyone knows the hierarchy. Champ, good to meet you. Ali shook it. Strong grip, but not aggressive. You, the bodybuilder, right. Mr. Universe, Mr. Olympia, Arnold corrected. Friendly, but firm. Ali nodded. Right. You're huge, man. How much you weigh? 2 all muscle. Ali whistled. 2 That's bigger than most heavyweights I fight. The room was listening now. Everyone sensed something brewing. Not a fight, but something. Arnold smiled. This was his element, being the biggest guy in the room, commanding attention, making people laugh. He'd done this 1,000 times. Walk into a space, own it, make everyone else feel like a guest in his world. Yeah, well, you need muscle to build muscle. Can't get this from dancing around a ring. It was said playfully, half joking, the kind of thing Arnold said to everyone because he could get away with it. A few people in the room laughed, nervous laughter, the kind you make when someone powerful makes a joke and you're not sure if they're serious. But Ollie's smile didn't change, it just deepened, like he'd heard something interesting, something worth responding to. Dancing around, huh? The way he said it, no anger, no offense, just curiosity, like Arnold had just revealed something about himself without realizing it. No disrespect, champ. You're the best at what you do. I'm just saying, different sports, different bodies. Ali stood up, slowly, no rush, just stood up. The movement was liquid, effortless, like gravity worked differently for him, and the room got quiet. Not all at once, but like a wave. Conversations died mid. People turned to look. Production assistants stopped shuffling papers because everyone knew who Muhammad Ali was. Not the celebrity, not the trash talker, the fighter, the man who'd beaten Sonny Liston, George Foreman, Joe Frazier, the guy who'd proven that speed and intelligence could beat raw power. 3-time heavyweight champion, undefeated in his prime. The man who'd gone to war with the US government and won, who'd sacrificed everything for his principles and came back stronger. But more than his record, more than his titles. The presence, the way he moved, like he owned not just the room, but the concept of confidence itself. And right now, that presence was focused entirely on Arnold. Arnold was huge, 6'2", 240 pounds of muscle, arms bigger than most people's legs. He'd built his entire identity on being the most physically impressive person anywhere. Ollie was 6'3", maybe 220, lean, athletic, nothing impressive by bodybuilding standards, but everyone in that room suddenly felt the temperature drop. You think size matters? Ollie asked. His voice was calm, conversational, like they were discussing the weather. Arnold laughed. In a fight, physics matters, mass matters, that's just science. Science, huh? Ollie took a step closer, not aggressive, just closer. And Arnold felt something he hadn't felt in years, uncertainty. Because Ollie wasn't doing anything, wasn't flexing, wasn't posturing, wasn't even looking hostile. He was just there, taking up space, controlling the environment without trying. Let me tell you something about science, Ali said. His voice got quieter. Everyone leaned in to hear. This was Ollie's gift. He could command attention without volume, make you strain to hear him so you'd listen harder. I fought George Foreman in Zaire, 1974. The rumble in the jungle. You followed that? Arnold nodded. Everyone had followed that. George was undefeated, 24-0. Knocked out Joe Frazier in 2 rounds. Knocked out Ken Norton in 2 rounds. Hit so hard he broke his opponents. Made M quit. Made M afraid. Ali paused. Let the weight of that sink in. He was 220 pounds. All muscle. Like you, probably benched more. Squatted more. Stronger in every measurable way. And everybody said I was finished. Too old. Too slow. Too small. Another pause. Longer this time. You know what I did? I let him punch himself tired. Leaned on the ropes for 7 rounds. Let him throw everything he had. Made him think he was winning. Then I knocked him out in the 8th. He smiled. That famous Ollie smile. Rupert, that's what they called it. But it wasn't a trick. It was understanding. Understanding that muscles get tired. That power without control burns itself out. That the strongest punch doesn't matter if it never lands clean. He took another half step closer. Still not threatening. Just present. And that half step changed everything. Suddenly Arnold was aware of the distance. 6 inches less space between them. Ali's height advantage. The way Ali's weight was balanced. The way his hands hung loose but ready. Arnold had never thought about these things before. Had never needed to. In his world, size was dominance. Muscle was power. But right now, in this moment, he was thinking like prey. Right now, you're thinking about your muscles. Ali said. His voice was soft, almost gentle. About how strong you are. About physics. Arnold's jaw tightened, because Ollie was right. That's exactly what he was thinking. Calculating. If it came to it, could he? But I'm thinking about timing, Ali continued. About distance. About angles. About how many ways I could hit you before you even understood what happened. He wasn't boasting, wasn't threatening, just stating facts. Like a professor explaining a formula. I'm thinking about how your weight is on your heels right now. How your shoulders are tense. How you're breathing faster than you were 30 seconds ago. Arnold realized he was all of it. His body had responded to something his brain hadn't consciously processed out. Danger. The room was dead silent. I'm not gonna hit you, Ali said. Smiled. That famous smile. But you should know something. Size doesn't scare me. Never has. You know why? Arnold didn't respond. Couldn't. Something about the way Ollie was standing. The way he was breathing. The way he existed in space. It was like being in the ring with someone, even though you weren't in a ring. Because I've been hit by men bigger than you, Ali said. Harder than you, stronger than you, and I'm still here. Still pretty, still the champ. He paused. Let Arnold process that. Sonny Liston was 215 pounds of muscle and rage. Hit harder than anyone I ever faced. People were scared to even spar with him. He broke jaws, broke ribs, broke spirits. Ali's voice was matter. No bragging, just history. I beat him twice. First time I was 22 years old. Everybody said I'd die in the ring. I danced. I talked. I made him swing at shadows. Knocked him out without taking a clean shot. Another pause. George Foreman was bigger than you, stronger than you, and meaner than anyone you've ever met. In Zaire, they thought he'd kill me. Literally kill me. And I let him punch me for 7 rounds just to show him that size doesn't matter if you don't know how to use it. He looked directly into Arnold's eyes. But you've never been in a real fight, have you? It wasn't a challenge, it was a statement. A fact. Arnold had been in competitions, posed in front of judges, lifted weights in gyms, but Ollie was right. He'd never been in a fight, never had someone trying to actually hurt him. I didn't think so, Ali said. He stepped back, the tension released like a valve opening. Suddenly the room could breathe again. The invisible pressure that had been building just disappeared. You're impressive, man. Really. That body is something. Must take years to build. His tone was friendly now. Genuine. The switch flipped so fast it was disorienting. Like watching someone turn off a weapon and become human again. Arnold blinked, trying to process the whiplash. 1 second he felt like prey. The next Ali was complimenting him like they were friends. This was the gift. This was what made Ollie dangerous. Not the punches. The ability to control emotions. To turn aggression on and off like a faucet. To make you feel however he wanted you to feel. But don't confuse what looks dangerous with what is dangerous. Ollie continued. I've fought pretty boys who looked like Greek gods. Perfect physiques. Muscles everywhere. Knocked him all out. He tapped his temple. Because muscles don't block punches. Muscles don't see combinations coming. Muscles don't adapt mid-fight when the plan falls apart. Another tap. This is what wins fights. Not this. He gestured at Arnold's arm, the 22-inch bicep that had started this whole thing. The room exhaled. People started talking again. The moment had passed, but Arnold stood there, processing. Because in 30 seconds, without throwing a punch, without raising his voice, without even trying, Muhammad Ali had done something nobody had done too. Arnold, since he was a teenager, made him feel small. Franco Colombo walked over, Arnold's training partner, the one person who knew him well enough to read his face. Franco had been watching the whole thing from across the room, seen Arnold walk in confident, seen him make the joke, seen Ollie stand up. And Franco had recognized something Arnold hadn't. The look in Ollie's eyes, the way he moved. Franco had been a boxer before bodybuilding, had been in real fights, street fights in Sardinia, boxing matches in Italy. He knew the difference between performance and threat. What Ollie just did, that was a masterclass in dominance without violence. "You okay?" Arnold nodded, but he wasn't. His hands were trembling slightly. Adrenaline dump. His body had prepared for a fight that never came. Now it didn't know what to do with all that energy. "He didn't do anything," Arnold said quietly. Half to Franco, half to himself. "I know. He just talked. Just stood there. I know. But I felt." Arnold trailed off, trying to find words for something he'd never experienced. "Like you were in a fight you couldn't win," Franco finished. Arnold looked at him. "Yeah, exactly that." Franco nodded. "That's because you were, just not the kind of fight you understand." The interview happened. Arnold was professional, charming, the cameras loved him, but something had changed. After the taping, Ali found Arnold in the hallway. "Hey man, no hard feelings, right?" Arnold shook his head. "No, you made your point." Ali smiled. "I wasn't trying to embarrass you. I just needed you to understand something." "What's that?" Ollie looked around, made sure they were alone. His voice dropped. More serious now. No cameras, no audience, just two men talking. "There's different kinds of strength. You got physical strength. That's real. That's valuable. You worked your whole life for that body. I respect it." He paused, made sure Arnold was listening. "But there's mental strength too. The kind that makes people back down before the fight even starts. The kind that lets you control a room without throwing a punch. That's what separates good fighters from great ones." Arnold listened, really listened. "You're gonna be huge, man," Ollie continued. "I can tell. You got the drive, the discipline, the look, the charisma. You're gonna be a star. Movies, probably, maybe more." Arnold raised an eyebrow. "Yeah, absolutely. But you gotta learn something first. Confidence without awareness is just arrogance, and arrogance gets you knocked out." He put his hand on Arnold's shoulder, not condescending. "Brotherly, you came in here thinking you were the most impressive person in the room, and physically, you probably were. But impressive doesn't mean dangerous. Impressive doesn't mean powerful. It just means people look at you." Another pause, letting each word land. "Real power is when people feel you, when you change the energy just by being there, when you don't need to prove anything because everyone already knows. That's what you need to learn." Ali walked away, and Arnold watched him go. Years later, when Arnold was doing interviews as a Hollywood star, someone asked him who the most intimidating person he ever met was. He didn't hesitate. "Muhammad Ali. Not because he threatened me, because he didn't have to." The interviewer looked confused, expecting a story about Stallone or some action star. "Not a boxer from decades ago," Arnold explained. "I met Ollie in 1974, ABC Studios, New York. I was Mr. Olympia 5th time, biggest bodybuilder in the world. I walked into that green room thinking I was the most impressive person there." He smiled, self-deprecating now. Time had given him perspective. "I thought size was everything. Thought being physically imposing meant being dominant. Thought muscles equaled power." The interviewer leaned forward. This was getting interesting. "Ollie taught me something in about 30 seconds. He taught me that real power isn't about what you look like. It's about how you make people feel, about controlling the room without trying, about being so confident in who you are that you don't need to prove anything to anyone." He paused, the memory still sharp decades later. He stood up, took half a step toward me, and I felt my whole body tense. Fight or flight kicked in. All my muscles, all my strength, all my training. And I felt like I was in danger, from a guy who never even raised his fist. The interviewer tried to move on. Arnold stopped him. "No wait, this changed my life." He sat forward, more animated now. You want to know what's crazy? He never even raised his voice, never flexed, just stood there, talked, moved half a step, and I felt like I'd already lost a fight that never started. The interviewer scribbled notes. This was gold. That's not muscle, Arnold continued. That's not size. That's not strength in any way I understood it. That's mastery. That's a different level of human being. Someone who understands power so completely they don't need to demonstrate it. He paused, choosing his words carefully. I've spent my whole life since then trying to get there, trying to develop that presence, that confidence, that ability to control a situation without force, and I'm still not there. But Ollie, he was born with it, or he learned it so young it became part of who he was. Another pause, longer this time. That's why he's the greatest. Not because he could punch hard, lots of guys could punch hard, but because he understood the game better than anyone else. He understood that the fight starts long before the bell rings, and if you can win it mentally, you never have to win it physically. The story became legend in bodybuilding circles. Most people thought it was exaggerated. Some thought it never happened, but the people who were there, they knew. They saw the moment Arnold Schwarzenegger learned that muscles don't win every fight. They saw confidence meet mastery. They saw size meet presence. They saw a bodybuilder realize that the strongest weapon isn't in your arms, it's in your mind. Franco tells the story sometimes, not often, but when someone in the gym starts talking about how big they are, how strong, how nobody could take them, Franco will say 4 words. Ollie just stood there, and if the person knows, they get quiet, because that story isn't about a fight. It's about the moment when the biggest guy in the room learned. He wasn't the most dangerous. Muhammad Ali is still remembered as the greatest, the man who proved that intelligence beats size, that speed beats power, that confidence beats muscle. But the people who knew him personally, they talk about something else. They talk about his presence, his ability to control a room without throwing a punch, his understanding that real strength is making people believe you've already won before the fight even starts. Arnold built an empire, movies, politics, business. The Austrian Oak became a household name, but he never forgot that day at ABC Studios. The day Muhammad Ali didn't throw a punch. The day a half step and a smile were enough. The day Arnold Schwarzenegger learned that no matter how big you get, someone out there understands power better than you do. And the scariest part, Ollie was being gentle, making a point, teaching a lesson. If he'd actually wanted to dominate, if he'd actually wanted to make Arnold look small, nobody in that green room wants to think about what that would have looked like. The cameras still roll at ABC Studios. The interviews still happen. The green room still fills with celebrities and athletes. But every once in a while, when someone new comes in acting too confident, too sure of themselves, someone old will tell the story about the day Arnold flexed, about the day Ollie laughed, about the day everyone learned that strength comes in forms you can't see in a mirror. 1974, ABC Studios, New York. The day the green room went quiet. The day a half step changed everything. The day Arnold Schwarzenegger stopped confusing size with power. Welcome to the story nobody tells completely. Welcome to the moment when legends learned humility. Welcome to the truth about real strength. This is what actually happened, and now you know.